Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melinda and this is The Happy Place Garden. Today I'm going to be working on my spiral topiaries. They are a blue point juniper and I've had them here for about 10 years and they, some years I have pruned them well and other years I've neglected them. There have been years that I got too busy and never pruned them. And the last year or two, I used my electric hedge trimmers, and I think it ended up actually causing some more damage to them than I would have liked. There's a lot of dead in the middle. And the shape-wise, I don't think it did as good a job. So this year, I'm gonna try and revitalize them, and use just some manual pruners and some manual shears, and see if that does a better job for me. See if we can get them looking better. They, like I said, have some brown in them. We'll clean that out. I think some of it's just due to winter damage. We had a lot of snow and ice. That storm that we had, it caused some damage, and they're just older. So so we're gonna see how it works. The other thing to consider when you're pruning your topiary is, or any juniper actually, is you don't want to cut into this brown wood. You wanna cut and still leave some of the new growth. Otherwise, you'll end up with some dieback. So my tools that I'm going to use today, I think first the most important one is to wear long sleeves and gloves. Junipers are really prickly, and if you do have any dead old wood inside and you're reaching in, you can scratch up your forearms, which I did yesterday because I pruned the other one yesterday, and so you want to protect that so that you don't get scratches. And then I'm also going to be using my Felco 2s, my little hand pruners for some finer work, and just some manual hedge trimmers. These aren't the best ones, but they, junipers, when you prune them, they emit, I'm not sure if it's tar or sap or pitch. Pitch would be pine, I think, but I'll have to look that up and put that in the screen for you. And so when you're using them, your pruners and your shears get really gummed up really quick. And so I don't want to use my Japanese ones that I use on my boxwood. So these are my old ones. They're newly sharpened, both of these are, and they're also pre-cleaned. I use alcohol pads, and I've got some extra alcohol pads with me so that if they do, when they do get gummed up during this process, I can clean them in between to keep that more sharp. So, and then I also do have a drop cloth down to catch all the trimmings to make cleanup easier. And I'll probably end up going to grab a ladder to get the top, and in the meantime, we will get started.
I'm starting in the middle just because this was an area that was more overgrown than the others, and I also didn't have my ladder out yet. I chose these blue point junipers when we got our house about 10 or 11 years ago as a real foundational plant for our entry. I just love the way the spirals look, and the blue point juniper was kind of what was available at the time when I bought them. And they are, though, really great for the spot. They receive full sun. This is a southern facing area. And I don't tend to water the front yard as much because we don't spend as much time up there. So junipers don't require much water once established. They only need a soaking about once a week. So it was a good choice for the spot. And so far they've, really hung on really well. Like I said, we've had them here about 10 or 11 years, and some years they got really neglected. They didn't get pruned, really, had a lot of overgrowth, and it's only been in the last few years that I've been trying to keep them in better condition and better shape.
So I had to stop because I noticed some of this tarp plastic in this one, and you can see here that a bird is starting to build a nest, which I looked at this tree yesterday and it didn't have this. So I think they're just starting to build today, which we've had juncos and robins build in these trees in the past. I was hoping to get them pruned before they started, which unfortunately I'm going to clean it out anyway. They're gonna have to just rebuild. So I think I'm just gonna remove this material and put it on the grass, and maybe once I'm done, they'll want to use this tree again, maybe not, but we have lots of other trees, lots of nests around here, so hopefully they will pick a better spot. We'll see. Sorry, birds. But I'm gonna remove, see all this dead die-off from the winter time? This is not good in our Pacific Northwest climate to have stuck in the tree, because it'll get stuck and the moisture will stay in there and can lead to fungal diseases and issues. So I really need to get it all cleaned out. See all this dead in here? I want to try and get those old dead needles out of there. Give it some airspace, light to grow, and maybe some new growth will form further down. So this is why I say to wear long sleeves. You can see the pricklies getting in under my sleeves and they hurt.
Prune off any branches growing off that main trunk that are not part of the spiral form, and also prune off any old dead wood or any wood that you see that might be diseased. I'm speeding up the video here because this is a long process. It took me probably about 2 hours to get one topiary done. That is why in the past I used the electric hedge trimmer or hedge shears to try and prune them, because it of course goes faster. But like I said before, I believe it tended to cause some damage, and I also didn't clean it out as well. So a lot of those cut branches got stuck in there, had a lot of loss with the needles, and the shape really wasn't that great with it anyway. So many dead needles needed to be cleaned out, and dead branches. I probably should have started at the top, because when I went from the middle up to the top, more needles came down and I had to clean it multiple times, but there was so much to clean out.
Here you can see my pruners are gummed up, and I'm going to clean them off.
It's best to hold the shears at about a 45-degree angle and take small little cuts. You just keep doing those small little cuts, working on the shaping, rounding the edges, making the ball at the top, and you just keep working, making cut after cut after cut, and making it perfect, and that's why it tends to take so long. It's best to do this pruning in the early spring before it puts on too much new growth and before temperatures get too hot. Do it on a dry day or when it's been dry for a while so you're not spreading any fungal disease that might be present. Depending on how much growth you get on your spiral topiary in the spring and summer, you may want to do a touch-up prune in the fall. Make sure not to cut back into the brown growth. You need to tip prune and stay where that living growth is. Because if you do cut into the brown or thicker branches, it will cause that branch to die. After I'm done pruning in the spring and fall, I'll clean up the ground and apply a complete fertilizer, heavier in the nitrogen since junipers are heavy nitrogen feeders, and then either water it in or apply right before a good rain. Pruning can be hard on your back. I usually will do this in a couple steps. So I did some in the morning and some in the afternoon on this topiary, and the other topiary I did the day before.
Cute little ladybug. Signs of spring. All the dead needles and the branches I trimmed out on my drop cloth. It's still pretty messy. There's going to be some additional cleanup I need to do. It's not perfect, but I'm satisfied. I think it's looking pretty good. Got all that dead needles out. There was a lot, which if we come into the bottom of the tree where it doesn't get as much light, there ended up being a lot of die-off down here because I think all those dead needles were in here and caused some problems. So hopefully some more light will get in here and we'll get some new growth. Now time to clean up.
here they are, looking pretty good. The one on the right, I took a few too many branches out of the top ball because it was just too heavy. So unfortunately, it's a little imbalanced.
So thanks so much for tuning in and watching the video. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. And if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And to follow more of my gardening journey in the Happy Place Garden, don't forget to push that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you'll see when I post a new video. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.